welcome to the Church of Thomas, Angel Eliza. These are excerpts from the Awakenings in an Age of Angels. This is the third chapter, Judas, Thomas, and his other brothers. Judas was later called Thomas or Didymus, which both translate to mean twin. He was the fraternal twin of Jesus. His nickname as a kid was Jesus' Shadow. He went everywhere with Jesus. He was not a shy boy, but next to Jesus, he seemed downright reserved. When Jesus went to debate with the rabbis in town, Judas listened a lot, though he was confused where all this extra knowledge came from. They both took their studies from Joseph at home in the evenings. For some reason, Jesus could still discuss advanced ideas at the temple with great conviction and authority. Judas admired his twin's gregarious nature. All Judas really cared about was that Jesus loved to play and joke around with him. For Judas, this lighter side of his twin that made them close, not all that intellectual stuff. Unlike their younger brothers, Judas and Jesus had shared and observed some very exotic places. Their first 4 years were spent in places like Egypt. They remembered strangely dressed people who came to drop off work for Joseph. Half-naked people brought broken chairs and tables in for Joseph to work on and repair. It made an impact on their young senses because it was so different from their parents' conservative long robes and shawls. They saw strange animals too. A circus brought a giraffe through one time. A circus that later came to Nazareth ever had one of these. All the other boys in town thought they were making it up when Jesus told them about it. They said they must have just dreamed it up to joke with them. Mary had been pregnant a few times in Egypt, but the babies did not make it. Some local midwives had told Mary that having twins first had made it hard for her to carry other children to term. They did not tell her that in time her body would recover. She would probably have more kids later, they tried to reassure her. They were right in their own way. After the stress of moving to Nazareth to avoid Herod's son, Mary did become pregnant again. The next child was carried to term and named after Joseph, Jose. Jesus and Judas were 5 then. They were fascinated until Mary started crying out and Judas fled in tears. Jesus could tell that she was hurting. His first thought was to bring her fruit to nibble on and watered wine to drink. After all, that's what she did for him when he had a tummy ache. She loved that he did this kind of gesture and special treatment of her. At first the midwife was scandalized, but it calmed Mary, so she quit protesting. Joseph was in his shop trying to work. This pregnancy, Joseph prayed for a healthy child. He was a little unsure what to think of Judas after being born from the same pregnancy as Jesus. The angel had only named Jesus. The second boy was a surprise to both Mary and Joseph. He did not know what to think of the boy. Judas worked hard and seemed normal enough, so Joseph left well enough alone. This new pregnancy was his and his alone. He already wanted to name the new baby, if it was a boy, after himself. The natural fear Joseph had was from so many little ones lost in Egypt. Joseph feared that this one would die as well. The word came. A healthy boy had been born. Joseph danced around the shop, chisel in hand. He acted like he had just escaped the pharaohs from the bad old days. Judas danced with his dad because his dad was so happy. After a couple of years and 2 pregnancies, Simon was born. Joseph was overjoyed and rejoiced again. Jesus and Judas were 7 years old then, and the last son of Joseph was named James. He was later called the Just. After his birth, Mary and Joseph decided to sleep in separate beds and have no more children. They were content in their family.